Way back before YouTube was a thing, I used to think that these calipers were only good if you're machining things. Now I use these with every project that I work with. I grab them for quick dowel and bolt diameter checks, as well as for T-nuts. If I need to drill a hole for a nut, I go to a caliper. With my lathe, if I'm trying to get that perfect diameter, I go back to my caliper. But today we're not talking about whether or not you should use one. I'm just going to pretend that you've decided to buy one, and we'll go ahead and review this QFun digital caliper. For comparison, we're going to go back to my old Harbor Freight digital caliper, which I've had for about 5 years. Now it's still chugging along, but there are a few things that are starting to bug me. For starters, the thumb lock broke after a week that I got it, and I've really never used calipers as far as locking them. Another thing that makes this really irritating is that there's a level of flexing that happens when I squeeze it against anything. If we press this into a steel rod, you can see that I'm getting different readings. It's just really annoying. If you compare the two, you can see that the QFun has a much larger screen, which my optometrist has told me that I'm getting close to bifocals, so this is kind of future-proofing a tool for me. Now, another thing that you'll notice is that even though it has a larger screen, it still seems to be about the same size. So there really isn't a size difference as far as the body. Now, if we turn it sideways, the QFun is a little bit thicker, and it does feel a little bit heavier, but that might be because of the screen on it. I'll go ahead and put this on the same steel dowel, and you can see that it does not flex. Next, we'll check the thumb lock, and yes, again, my Harbor Freight has never worked, and this one actually works really well. I'm surprised by how much tension you can put on the caliper. The lock seems to work really well with this, so I'm gonna have to get used to locking it. If we look at the front, you can tell that they both have 3 buttons. There's an on-off switch, a zeroing switch, and a button that converts readings into millimeters and inches. But wait a second, this QFun one has a fraction setting. Wow. Okay, let me show you my normal workflow. Let's say I need to know the diameter of a hole I drilled and forgot which bit I used. I'll normally grab my caliper and measure the hole. With my string of decimals, I'll hunt down my conversion chart and translate it. Now, I'm not gonna complain. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm used to checking and going through the conversion chart like that when I haven't misplaced it. But this is going to really make things a lot quicker in my shop. And now this wouldn't be complete if I didn't actually check it to see how accurate it is. So I've got a feeler gauge here. I'm gonna start with the 0.024. We're gonna check it out on my old Harbor Freight. Again, I'll make sure that it's zeroed out. And you can see that I can, again, flex it. It's terrible. And I'll put this on here. And it says 0.175. Now we'll check out the QFun. 0.024, so that is absolutely perfect. And I honestly had no idea that my other one was so far off. That is just really, really off. Now I'll do the thinnest one that I can do, which is 0.0015. Again, we'll try it out on this. It goes from 0 to 0.5 to negative 0.001. If I'm not careful about it with how much pressure I put on it, I can actually make it go a little bit less. Now we'll try the QFun, 0.0015. We'll do it again. It's just perfect. Again, the QFun wins hands down between the two. And now the last thing that we're gonna look at is the cost. And even if this fixes all the problems that the Harbor Freight one has, I don't like to pay an arm and a leg for anything. But here's where it gets interesting. Not only does it work better, in my opinion, than the Harbor Freight, it's actually about the same price or even cheaper. Do yourself a favor and check this out. I have a link in the description. Every time that I go, it seems to be some percentage off. It's like a coupon that you hit. I think the last time I looked at it, it was about 20% off. So definitely check it out. And that's it for this review. Am I happy with this? Definitely. But if I find something in the future, like the battery life is too short, or if the thumb knob happens to break, I'll go ahead and leave that information in the description. I want to welcome my newest patron, James T., as well as thank my dedicated patrons and invite you to become a patron for early access and upcoming projects. Thank you, Michelle B., Keith Current, William L McNally, Jerry Adams, Tommy QR, Zach Finch, Rich Lightfoot, and James T. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, and I thank you so much for being a part of my shop. Please leave a comment below, come find me on Instagram at MakeThingsWithRob, and remember to keep making things.